Hi, I'm Ian, and this is Novel Notions. It's not my normal episode of Novel Notions because today I felt that it was time to do a little bit of like a book ranking. So to my right, we have the tier list in which I will be using to rank all of these books. We're just going to keep it old school. We're going to go with the standard school grading system. I am going to include percentages as well because I want a little bit more accuracy with where I stand on these books and where I want them placed. But without further ado, let's get to ranking some books now, shall we? But before we go any farther, just want to say, spoiler alert. The books I will be talking about will be Percy Jackson 2, Battletech Decision at Thunder Rift, A Court of Thorns and Roses, The Awarded Man, and The Algebra of Wealth, and The Dip. So if you want to enjoy those books on your own, go ahead and pause now, hit the watch later button, go read them, and then you can come back here and we'll talk about them. Are you now asking yourself, well, dang Ian, how am I going to read them? I love that question. One, have you heard of the library? There is probably one local to you. You can go there, you can borrow books, and then after a certain duration, you return them. They even sometimes have this thing called Amnesty Day, which is typically, I think, Thursdays, where you can keep them for as long as you want and bring them back, and they won't charge you the late fee. Don't be that person, though. Other people are wanting to read the book, though, so it's kind of a Ian, I like ebooks. They don't have ebooks. How am I supposed to read the book then? Have you heard of Libby? Libby's an app that allows you to use your library card, link it to a Libby profile, and you can rent ebooks from your local library. It's awesome. Did you know that your local library probably has ebooks? You want to know the best part about having a library and Libby is you can go to your library and request books. I don't know if people know that. I was way older than I thought I should be to know that, but you can actually go to your library and simply ask them if they could get this book in, or if they're planning on getting this book in, whatever it is, and they will try to make it happen. Ian, I would like to own the book. I would very much appreciate it if you went to a place called bookshop.org and you use my affiliate codes down below in the description to purchase said book. I would get 10% if you buy it that way. If you buy from bookshop.org, your money will go into a profit sharing pool, and that profit sharing pool will pay out to the stores in network. Or you can go to maybe your local bookstore if they're registered on bookshop.org, and you can buy directly from them because maybe you're out of town and you still want to support them, so then they just send it to you to wherever you're at. Bookshop.org, I've used them a few times now. They're not as fast as Amazon. They're also not as cheap as Amazon. But Amazon is frankly kind of cheating. I'm sorry. It's like books were a loss leader for them for the longest time. I'm pretty sure they still are. If I don't, I'm putting it right here and I'll let you know. Reading's great for the mind. It's great for at all ages, and it's very low cost. And I think in a world where attentions are waning and frankly, third places are being phased out by the internet, supporting things like local bookstores and libraries goes a long way. So if you can do that, and I would be forever grateful. Yeah, but other than that, you've been fully warned. So at this point, we're just going to dive right into my rankings. All right, so where do we begin? Well, let's start with January. So in January, I read Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. This was book 2 in the Percy Jackson series. So I've been reading this series with my nephew. So shout out Sebastian. Hope you're having a good one. And it's been a lot of fun. I actually bought him the entire series. I really enjoyed this series. I think it's good for just the youngins. I think the kids, I think any kid in your life around the age of anywhere between 10 and 13 can benefit from reading the Percy Jackson series. It's in this place between, Greek mythology and the modern day. So it's easier, I think, for kids to grasp or exercising their imagination rather. And I really can't complain about it. My only real complaint about Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters is frankly that I am a little too old for it. It was, it was still an enjoyable read, but it's one of those reads that, once I read it, I was like, I think I missed the window, but I'm glad I can vicariously experience this book through my nephew. So anyway, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. I'm giving it a high C, not to be confused with the beverage. I'm still happy with it. By no means do I think that I'm wasting time reading it again. I'm enjoying it with my nephew, but I feel like the B tier and above, I was like really locked into it, and I wasn't necessarily as locked in to that book as I would have liked to have been. So as for February, what did we read? Well, I read Battletech, Decision at Thunder Rift. All I have to say about Battletech is Battletech rules. That's it. I love Battletech. The only problems I have with Battletech is that it's such a large universe, and I just don't have the time to sit down and grind every one of those novels. And they are a little old. It kind of shows in some of the writing, but I was locked in for the entirety of this reading. Yeah, these books are a little bit old. This was the first one ever written as far as Battletech novels go. I really enjoyed it. At the time, I just wanted to consume as much Battletech as I could. I still do. I just don't really have the time. And if I were to, like, the series isn't long, it's just a trilogy, but I'm dozens upon dozens of Battletech books, and it's intimidating. So that's my only complaint really with the Battletech novel literature universe. Honestly, if I'm thinking about it now, wouldn't this be an A? I don't think it's an A. I think it's a solid B. I don't really know how to describe it other than it was just a great read, and I feel like B's are great reads, but there's just something missing. There's like that je ne sais quoi that it just doesn't have, and I think it's because it leans on just the fact that I like the games, from the board game or the tabletop game to the video games. So I'm gonna keep it at like a mid to high B. Next, we're gonna come up with a contentious one. But I have ACOTAR, or A Court of Thorns and Roses. What do I think about A Court of Thorns and Roses? I honestly think it's a little too much hate. That's what I'm really feeling right now. Kind of undeserved hate. It was boring. I'm not trying to go to bat fully for it, but people really got caught up in the smut. I'm actually let down by that. That actually affects my score on ACOTAR. I'll put this at like I'm going to put it at a low C, maybe a mid C. It's probably a mid C, because I feel like I was engaged with it. Once it hit that 35th chapter, it's boring as up until that point, and I really was about to quit it. But I think I was so starved for action or some sort of plot development that once it actually snapped in, I was just gracious. I was just grateful to have it. So the next book is The Waterman. This is probably gonna be my most divisive ranking right now. If I'm putting A Court of Thorns and Roses as a mid C for boring me for 2/3 of the way and then finally picking up, I'm ranking this a lower C because this had me hooked for a solid hook. For 2/3. The first 2/3 of this book are like a solid low B for me, but then they just washed away all of that character progression, in my opinion. And that is a divisive opinion. Someone's going to be upset with the fact that I just said that. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say it's bad. Like, that's my opinion, right? That's what's important here. It's just my opinion. We can talk about it down below. Let me know if I'm wrong down below, actually. But currently, this is a lower C than A Court of Thorns and Roses, because the bar was also set pretty low for A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it was pretty neutral for me the entire time, and then it picked up. This one, the bar was kind of set, kind of mid. I was optimistic, kind of went up a little bit. I was like, oh, cool. I'm like into this. Like I'm down. And then it just shit bed. Yeah, it sucks to say that because I don't want to, but alas, that's where we're at with it. The next two books I have not talked about with you all on Novel Notions. I'm bringing them up though because I have read them. We'll go ahead and start with one that, if I were to rank this, it's kind of hard to rank these. This is like bonus books. I don't think I'm going to do an episode on this one though, but I will rank it. So I read The Dip by Seth Godin, and this is a really good book just for like motivation, right? Like if you want something to kind of kick you in the rear, it's a book about quitting. Yeah, see, if you don't know if you see that, but it's a book that teaches you how to quit. The main gist, and it's very short, the main gist of it is, hey, identify the things you suck at and stop wasting time on them, and identify the things that you're not only good at and have an advantage at, but you also enjoy, and like stick with them. He obviously says it in a lot more words. That's the main gist of it. And I think it came through for me. I would put this at a solid C. This was like wasn't boring or anything, and I don't think C is bad. Again, I don't think C is bad. I think, they say C's get degrees. C's here are potentially a fun time depending on the audience, right? Like, I'm not into dark fantasy here. I think if you like dark fantasy, you'll love this. If you're into romantasy, like ACOTAR, you'll probably like that. So I guess the best way of saying a C is probably just a more niche, interest or genre. It's a specific type of reader that might like it, not just a general reader. Where I think like B and up, a more general audience or a broader audience might enjoy B and above. I think, in my opinion. All right, so the next book that I read, and I actually think I am going to do an episode of Novel Notions on. Let me know if you're interested in it. But it's The Algebra of Wealth by Scott Galloway. There's a thing I like about this book in particular that I think is very beneficial to anybody that just wants some more knowledge on finance, the economy, wealth. Tentatively, the script I'm working on, I've titled as, I think it was Money, Math, and Mindset is what I have. That's kind of like the best way of describing it. And it's because this book is trying to be a cross between this book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. So before we go into this, I want to take a little aside, take a moment. Meditations, great book. Stoicism, not a bad thing. I actually think it's a great thing. It's helped me a lot in just digesting life. However, I do understand that there's a negative connotation or maybe a toxic masculinity kind of connotation around it because of like the influencer verse or the male influencer verse. I just want to take a second to say that that is not what Stoicism is. Also, if they're trying to tell you anything other than, being fairly neutral and in control of yourself and not in like this very aggressive way, there's a lot of clowns. I'm just going to say it. Stoicism is not toxic. It's just the internet ruins things from times. And by no means is this like a religion. It's really just philosophy, and it's pretty good reads. Like I said, it helped me a lot during just when I was going through therapy. However, what is a religion is this man right here, The Intelligent Investor. This book is going to tell you how boring amassing or just investing and amassing wealth is, and how day trading is not actual investing. This book rules. You should read it. I don't really bet against Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger. So, and definitely not Benjamin Graham, who I believe taught both of them, at least Warren Buffett. Overall, I would actually say this is a great start if you just have an interest in personal finance, economics, and just, it's a little bit of like that. It's like self-help, personal finance, investing, wealth. It's all wrapped up into one pretty concise book. And Scott's, he's a little sarcastic. I like him. I think he does a good job. Like his prose or his voice in the book, it's not too serious. It's not here to make you feel bad. It's easy to digest. So my dad also got this for me because we just finance and economics is something that my dad and I talk about a lot. So if I were to rate this, I would actually put this one up into like a mid to high B. Because I just think it's worth it. Like, I really do. I think that not only do I think a more general audience might enjoy it, I think there is really good information to glean off of it, even if some of it for me was just a tad redundant because I just spend too much time at times looking into finance and investment. I like it. I don't know. I'm weird. It's not sexy at all, but the fact that you can put your money into accounts that just give you percentages back for it being in there, that rules. Like, everyone should have high yield savings accounts minimum. What is next on the line for Novel Notions? What am I reading? So right now I can confidently tell you the next book will be, or the next episode rather, will be on Project Hail Mary. I am about 30 to 40% done with it now. It'll probably be coming up here. I'll probably finish in the next week or so, or I'm going to try to. And then I'm already working kind of on the script, just like writing as I go. One of my favorite parts about making these videos, especially just Novel Notions, is digesting the book a little bit more thoroughly. It's kind of like chewing the appropriate number of times before swallowing, right? Because instead of just reading the book and then just, either dumping the information or just sitting on it, I've been trying to actually, put a little bit more thought into each book as I'm reading them. And I like that. After Project Hail Mary, I'm pretty confident that I am going to either go with Pride and Prejudice. Reason why is because I think I said this in my A Court of Thorns and Roses episode of Novel Notions, but I want to experience more romance. And now every woman that might be watching this probably just rolled their eyes the hardest. I think I heard it from here because I said Pride and Prejudice. But the reason why is because I think the meme, there's like a little meme poo around about how like it seems like a bunch of dudes just only think Pride and Prejudice, and they kind of were like punching down on A Court of Thorns and Roses not being Pride and Prejudice, or like Clyde, and it's like the only book that they reference when it comes to romance. So I'm reading this one more for the memes, but I actually am just genuinely interested. I've never read Jane Austen, so I want to expand my horizons. And then after that, if we keep going down the romance rabbit hole, I'm probably going to go with Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, which was recommended to me by a friend. As far as romance, just to get something more modern, a little more contemporary, right? Like, I'm not trying to be back in, when was this, the 20th, 19th century when this came out. Hey, did you enjoy this video? I hope you did. If you did, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below on what you would rank these books, or have you read them? Let me know. Subscribe so you can watch more, and as always, check out Some Damn Channel. I have a little movie podcast over there with my best friend Jared, and we do a lot of good work there. I really enjoy those videos. We've been putting it in. So yeah, that's all I really got for you. Thank you again for spending whatever time you spent on this video and not playing Marvel Rivals, which is what I'm going to go do right now, because the new season just started and Daddy's gonna play Emma Frost. Bye.